guys, welcome to Digital World Tech Academy YouTube channel. My name is John Python, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how you can create a border bottom form without any issue. I'm also going to show you how you can target your placeholder in the input and style it anyhow you want. Lately I've been getting a report from students that it's been giving them issue on how to create a border bottom form and also how to target the input. That's why I decided to make this video. Now in this video, I will show you how you can easily do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create my HTML document for that. I already did here, you can do yours too. So now let's get to it, guys. So this is my simple HTML structure. And in here, I'm simply going to create a div that we can contain all the things we are going to be working with. In that div, I'm going to call it content. I'm going to give it a class name of content. All right. So inside of this div, I'm going to have some other div that will contain my label and input. So here I'm going to have the label. The first label I'm going to have is for first name. So you can use your name for that. Let me say first name here. So I'm going to create an input too for this. An input of text. Yes, text will serve us for this. Will serve this purpose. So I'm going to use a placeholder of, let's say, enter your first name for this. So this placeholder is actually going to be showing inside of the input. So we are going to see it right now in the browser. So let me duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this to 4 times. So now I will simply make the necessary changes here. Let me say last name, name. So here instead of first name, I'm going to change this to last name. So I'm going to leave it at text. Then I will change it to last name. So here as well, I will change this to email, not first name again. So I'm also going to change this one to email. All right. So here I'm going to change this input type of text to input type of email, and this will enable the user to input to use the accurate or the correct email format while entering their email. So here I'm going to change this place to enter your email rather than first name. So here too I'm going to do for password as well. So here is password. So here instead of text, I'm going to leave this as input type of password, and then here will be enter your password. Let's see what we just did in the browser. So here I already have my live server installed, so I can simply say open with live server here, and we are going to see this on the browser. So this is what we basically have here, and from here now, this is not even looking fine at all. But if you stay true to the end of this video, you are going to see how we are going to beautify this form and actually build a nice border button form here, and also target our placeholder here. These are the placeholder. Enter your first name, enter your last name, email, and password. Those are the placeholder, and we are going to target them and start them. So the next thing I'm going to do is to create a CSS folder or file for this that will be linked to this HTML document, so that we'll be able to style them. So I already have mine here. So the first thing I did here is to set all the default setting of the browser by setting the margin to 0, the padding to 0, the box sizing to border box, and then the next thing I did here is to target the container there, not container, guys. The class name we gave to the container div is content. So we are going to use .content to target it. So here I already gave it a border of 2px solid black, and that will enable us to actually target the area we are working with. The next thing I'm going to do is to give it a width. I want to specify a width for that div, and I want to give it a width of 500 pixels. That will serve us. Then I also want to give it a height of, let's say, 30 viewport height, and that will do for that. So The next thing too I want to do is to use a display of grid to place the inputs side by side. If you look at it from the browser, let's see it. If you see this here now, the inputs are just stacked on top of one another. But if you use a display grid on them, we'll be able to place them right side by side. So let's quickly do that, guys. But before that, I want to make a little changes to here. So I'll just put a line break here so that we have our label on top of our input rather than side as well. So I will just come here too. I use BR. Here too, I will use BR. So here too, I will use BR. You are going to see the effect of this when we open the browser. So guys, let's go back to our CSS file. So the next thing I'm going to target now, I want to give the container that is content, I want to give it a display of grid. I want to give it a display of grid. Then that will enable us to place those contents, all those inputs side by side. So after I did that, there's a property called grid template columns. So here I'm going to use auto that we arrange because we have two inputs on the browser there. I just created 4 labels, so we are going to put them side by side. So we are going to see how this will look like when we open the browser. Don't worry, guys. So here I'm going to use another property called place content center. This will enable us to place all the whole content at the center of our div instead of anywhere else. So I'm going to use that property to center our content there. So I'm also going to use this CSS property place items too. I want to place everything right on the center of this content. So we are done with this. So the next thing I want to do is to target the input. I want to use a simple selector to simply target our input. So when I do that, I'll just call out the input. So what do I want there? I want to remember we are using a border button form. So if you look at it from the browser here, what you can see here is that everything is enclosed in a full border. We have border top, left, right, and everything is just complete. But our mission is just to unset all the whole borders and just leave the border button there. So how we can simply do that? I will just unset the border top here. Let me unset the border top. I want to set it to 0. Then I want to set the border right. Sorry guys. I want to set the border right. I want to set it to 0. I also want to unset the border left to 0. So the only border we need here is the border bottom. I want to set the border bottom and I want to use 1px solid and let us say white in this case. 1px solid and white. So now guys, I want to give my background a color. So what I will simply do, I will come here now and target the body using a simple selector to select the body of this whole content. And I want to give it a background color of blue violet. I think that this will do for this purpose. So let me create some space for myself here. Now I just give this a background color, and you notice if I give this body a background color of this, I need to also make the text color too to be in a way that we can see them, because with this here now, let me reload. So we'll be able to see this when we link this CSS file to our HTML document, but we've not done that. Let's do that so that our work in that CSS file will be effective there. So what we simply use here, we want to use link, the link tag, and inside of the href, we want to use // to just say form.css. This CSS file is successfully linked to our HTML document. So the next thing we are going to be doing here now is, let's go back there. And then I want to change the text color of all my text there. I want to change it to white. So I will simply change this to white. And then if you notice when you go to the browser, if I reload this, this is what we are basically having right now. So guys, it's still not looking so nice. So the next thing I want to do is I want to specify a gap there on the parent element. I want to specify a gap. There's a property called gap. Let me give it a gap of 20 pixels. So when I go back to the browser, if I do this, I think we are going to have something like this. But looking at it, we are see it's still not making sense. The next thing I want to do is to remove the background of this particular input. When I remove the background, I can also target the input, and then our work will soon be done. So let's quickly target this input. Then I want to give it a background color of transparent. I want to use a background color of transparent. So when I use the background color of transparent, now if I save this, go back to the browser. Now see what we have there. So now we are now seeing our border bottom form. So notice when we click on it too, there is still an issue we are having. We are still seeing a visible border there. So there is something we can do to remove this, to stop this from happening. So there's a property we call outline. We use outline to unset or to remove that. So what I can simply do here is to come back to the input and use outline of none. I want to set the outline to none so that none of those things will be showing. I want to set it to none, and when I go back to the browser, I think everything will be alright. So here, notice that it's no longer showing. Everything is just on a single border. The next thing I want to do here now is to target the placeholder. The placeholder we are seeing here is in color ash or something. So I want to target it. I want to make the text size to be smaller, and I also want to change the text color. So I will simply come here too and use a pseudo class selector to select the placeholder and give it any styling of my choice. So I'll first of all call the input, then I'll use colon, placeholder. Then when I do that, I'm going to make any changes I want inside of that placeholder. So I already changed the color to white. So I want to change the font size so that you guys will actually see that it's working. I want to change the font style. I want to change it to italic. I also want to change the font size. I want to change it to, let me use .5 pm for that. So guys, if I save this now, go back to the browser, you see what we have there. See that the placeholder, we've been able to make changes to it. Is the former color was ash, now the color is white. So and if you look at it, the text is so tiny, it's too tiny. So what we can simply do there is just to go back and increase this value to maybe 7 or anything. So that is how you can target your placeholder in your input and give it any styling of your choice. So guys, let's finalize this work and place our div at the center of this screen. So looking at it, it's not really making any sense here. Let's just move it to the center of this screen, and it's just a simple thing. So we can come back to the parent element here. So what I will simply do there, I will use a margin auto for it to place it at the center of our browser. So if I reload, see we have it at the center. We can remove this border if we want. We can leave it if we want. So, but in my case, I want to get rid of it. I don't really need it. What I will simply do is to comment on it, and that will be it. So guys, this is basically how you can build a beautiful border bottom form, and also this is how you can actually target your placeholder in your input and give it any styling of your choice. Guys, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you'll be notified when we drop content like this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.